Hey friends, I thought I would start this new type of series thing where I just come on and we chat like once a week or once every 2 weeks, just to kind of catch everybody up on stuff who's interested, who has questions, and kind of talk about the topics that my other content videos are about and that are in the vlogs. And it would just be like a really laid back, chill, like let's just discuss some stuff in case you're not into the vlogs and you just want to hear like life updates. So we can come and hang out. If you like that idea, feel free to submit any kind of topic. It's not going to be like planned out. These aren't going to be formal in any way, so they won't be like, you know, educational necessarily. It'll just be kind of like rambling thoughts. So until one day I maybe get a podcast and we might have something else going there. So last week I posted a video where I talked about how I'm like really burned out with primary care, and a lot of people resonated with it and they were like, yeah, me too. And I think I scared a lot of people too, because my channel is obviously geared towards like nurses, nursing students, NP students. And so to come out here and be like, oh, like I'm really having a hard time with this. A lot of people were like, why would you do that? Like I'm a student and this was really discouraging. So if that's you, like that's fine, friends. Just like, I would just maybe go somewhere else. There are tons of channels out there who people are very like, oh, everything is great. I've had some people comment and say like, oh, watching your stuff makes me not want to be a nurse. And to that, I almost say like, good, because I feel like the image presented by the media and social media especially is like, oh, this is the best. This is like, you know, you have this job where like you only work a few days a week and you're in charge of everything. And like, it just becomes very glamorized, and it's a great, like, I still think it's a great job. There's a lot of flexibility. There's so many different avenues that you can go into other than the hospital. Because hospitals are, depending on which one you work at, can be really, really rough. I've been really lucky to work inpatient at a great one and on a unit that wasn't so great. So I've seen both sides, like being well supported and not. But at the same time, I think the media portrays nursing in a way that, you know, it makes it sound like the best thing ever, and it's the best thing ever for a lot of people, but it's not the best thing for everyone. So the whole point of my channel and what I talk about is just to talk about like, here's what it's really like, because I feel like it's presented in a weird way. Obviously, I also only have my own experience. I've never done a lot of different aspects of different things. So I never want anyone to come on here and be like, oh, you know, it sounds like you're like crapping on the whole profession, when like really it's not. I'm just trying to reflect like what my nursing experience has been like and what my experience has been like working in primary care as a nurse practitioner. So that's kind of why, if that like bums you out, it's totally fine like to go and not watch it, because I understand where people are. You know, you don't want to watch something that's gonna like bum you out when you're in that phase. So that's kind of like the first initial thing that I just wanted to throw out there, is never ever consume social media that bums you out. It should be just something that makes you feel better. Next, I got a lot of people saying in my last video, oh, you should go work in a specialty. Because I work in primary care right now, if you aren't familiar, doing like family medicine. I'm telehealth right now, and a lot of people were like, oh, if you're burned out from that, because I'm burned out because people can't afford the care that they need, because they either most of them have a high deductible plan. I work at a place that we don't take Medicaid. If you're in the Medicaid system, a lot more things can get paid for. And if you're not, a lot of people have a high deductible plan and they can't pay the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars to get the care they need. And that's where I'm feeling really frustrated, is that I feel like most of my job is saying like, well, we should do this, but we can't. So like, let's find a workaround, or let me fight with your insurance company. And it's a mess. So a solution to that would be to work in a specialty, because a lot of the times by the time people are at a specialty, they have already either hit their paywall where they can afford, like their deductible's been met and now they can go, or it's not financially like too burdensome to go. And so that's a great option for a lot of people going into NP life. And I think it's something like a really good choice for many people because of that. The burnout rate seems to be less. You have longer appointment times because specialty appointments are reimbursed at a higher rate, so they get paid more for the visit. And that whole system is just backwards. That's a tangent for another day. And you have more support usually. It's a niche area, so it's, you know, you have more of a team around you who, it just seems more supportive environment from mostly what I've heard. I think a lot of it does come from the financial aspect of they're reimbursed much better. So that is a great avenue to explore if you've watched some things and you're like, oh my gosh, You're really bumming me out. Definitely look into a specialty. And the reason I don't want to go into a specialty is because I became a nurse practitioner to do primary care. Like my thought process was like, that's the job I want. Now what degree do I need to get to do it? And I didn't realize that until I was several years into my nursing career, that I just wanted to really focus on patient education so that people would not end up on the med-surg floor that I was working on at the time, being like, my foot was just amputated and I don't even know what I don't know what blood sugar even is, and they were having all these complications of this diabetes that was killing them. And they just didn't get it. So I wanted to be that person. So that was my why. So that's kind of where I'm struggling right now, is I didn't want to be a nurse practitioner. I wanted to be a primary care provider. So I think a good solution for me long term will probably be going to a federally qualified health center or somewhere where the care is given to like Medicaid populations or people with no insurance, but it's a free clinic. And that's kind of where like I want to work. A lot of other people suggested working in a higher income area, like an area that serves a population who can afford care, or doing like concierge medicine where you pay usually like $2,500 for the year, and you have more like they're kind of your on-call provider. And that's absolutely true. And I always feel like every time people suggest things, I'm like, no, that's not why. I don't want to do that because this, like, and I feel like I'm my 3-year-old daughter who every solution I offer her, she's like, no, that won't work for me. But that being said, that won't work for me because I want to provide the education to patients who do not have that, like a grand medical background, who are otherwise not going to really be educated about a lot of the aspects of their health. And I feel like when you're working with patients from a higher income bracket, or especially in concierge medicine, like those people have so many more resources. That's not why I went into this. Like I went into this for the people, who like just need education about like a lot of the healthcare basics. So those are all my excuses of why I don't want to work in a specialty clinic or go into concierge medicine. And it's just why I wanted to go into it. And so, yeah, there's that. Other thing was teaching, and I thought we could talk about that for a minute. Teaching's a great option. Teaching is, again, I'm like a toddler, not a great option for me right now in a traditional nursing school setting. I know a few people who are involved in like academics, and if you follow my channel at all, I wasn't the best student. I fought with my professors all the time. I was a huge pain in the butt. I'm a huge procrastinator, and I think a lot of nursing school and the whole, essentially, of NP school needs to be scrapped and redone. I think theory is a huge waste of time. Like, it could be done in 3 days. Why do we have classes upon classes on it? I have a lot of thoughts on how we do our nursing and NP education. My hair's like so sweaty because we were outside all day. And I've heard it's pretty catty, like within, like there's a whole level of like nurses eat their young, and they're really like, there can be a lot of cattiness on the floors when you're nursing. And at the teacher level, I heard it's just the same thing. It's just, a weird battleground of like cranky people who are fighting amongst different academia things. And I just don't want that right now. Maybe one day. I feel like torn about that because on one hand, like, I feel like the world needs people who are going to go in and be like, hey, this needs to change because it does. This isn't working. Maybe it worked way back when, but it's not working now. And, like, let's adapt with the world. And 2, like, we need to change the culture here. And the only way we're going to do that is by infusing ourselves in it. But I'm not mentally in a place to do that. Like, I have no interest in it. I also, like, I'm just too grumpy about the whole education system and how it is to put myself into it. So that's kind of scratched. Also, I don't want to be a clinical instructor. I feel like that's how a lot of people get into school because I don't have my doctorate. So I would be teaching at a BSN or an ADN level or in an LPN class. And most of those, in order to get into the school, you have to teach clinical, and I just don't want to teach I don't want to teach clinical. That's not what I love. That's just not what I want to do. Or theory. And as I already told you, I think theory needs to go burn in a dumpster and it's useless. So that would be really odd for like you to hire someone and be like, this class is a huge waste of your money and all of our time, and it would be so much better spent doing something that would prepare you for a job, because I don't feel like nursing school does that. So I don't think that would go over super well in an interview, but you never know. So that's kind of why I don't want to go into that right now. I still have a long-term goal of I would love to teach. And one day I'm hoping I get less cranky. We're all going to cross our fingers. I don't have my doctorate right now, so and no plans of getting one. Maybe eventually I would get it, but I don't think I would get my doctorate in nursing. I think I would get it in like a doctorate in like how to teach people, you know, something that's actually applicable, and then see if they let me teach. I don't know. Will they let me teach if I have like a doctorate that's not in nursing, but I have degrees in nursing? Maybe. Probably not, though. Probably not. But I would like to, if I ever do get my doctorate, it'll be in a long time because those are really expensive. And I mean, for your DNP, like if I went back now, my nurse practitioner job would be the exact same. So it's like a ton of money for no benefit in my position, other than I could teach. And like I said, don't really want to do that right now. So those are all my excuses for why all of your suggestions aren't going to work. Essentially, but just like to talk you through some things in case you're thinking of other things. Like academia is a great path. I know if that is like your thing and you have, you know, you're able to go into battle with the people who are working in it right now and you don't mind doing clinicals, like that's a great. I've known a lot of people who with their masters have gone and worked at community colleges and in BSN programs and have loved it, like loved being a clinical instructor. It has lots of flexibility. I also know a ton of people who have gone into specialties who absolutely love it. So there you go. That's kind of my 2 cents on that. What else was there? I feel like trying to think of what else has gone on and where we've been. That's kind of in case you can't tell, I'm really frustrated with a lot of aspects of everything, healthcare and nursing education, and I don't know how to fix it. So eventually I'm going to figure it out, but we're all just going to have to ride this kind of grumpy wave until I figure out a meaningful way to contribute. I did start a new, very part-time job that I'm hoping is going to like give me, like want me to work there a little bit more. So, if it becomes more of a real thing, I will tell you where it is. But for now, I don't think I can. It's a nursing education company that I'm a consultant for, right? I think I'm a consultant for, and I don't even know, like no one knows. They're like, what do you do here? I'm like, well, I'm kind of doing this. And I don't even know what a title would be. I'm doing consulting work for a nursing education company, kind of merging social media and nursing and showing them, just being their person who understands both sides of those things to kind of help merge it into one. Because a lot of people either know a lot about social media or they know a lot about nursing. And I know about both. So I'm doing that with them and it has been so fun. I was like, oh my gosh, apparently I should have gone into marketing, not healthcare. And that's kind of where I am, is I'm doing that like 6 hours a week. I'm still doing my telehealth job until I believe the end of July. And then I will be done with that. I won't be looking for another job around here. I may in a few months, I don't know, send out feelers for like a free clinic in where we're moving to. Because I think I would like that maybe on a volunteer basis, just every now and then, so that I can still keep my feet wet and I'm still in the thick of it and I like don't get behind on all my education, like just being in it. I feel like it's important to stay in it if you have a long-term goal of being in it. But that's kind of my plan for now. I want to volunteer there so I still have flexibility to take time off. I'm hoping to work more at this other place because I really like it. And so I'm kind of in a phase of, I like it. I don't know. I never imagined my life going in that direction and taking a bigger step away from like the bedside, but it would still be in the education realm and I would still be educating, which is what I love. Like that is what I love more than anything. That's why I went into this like nurse practitioner thing. So I'm excited to see where that takes me. And I would encourage you, if you're stuck in a job that you hate, to just see what other options are out there, no matter how untraditional they are, because I've been like tossing this around in my brain for a while, and I'm sorry, this is so rambly. This is just apparently my audio journal. Hopefully some of you can relate and be like, oh, like me too. I don't want to, I feel like the societal thing was like, oh, you went to NP school, so you will do this for the rest of your life. This job, you will work in a clinic, you will do this. And in reality, like, there are lots of other weird jobs that can pop up and present themselves that you can do. I'm also in the back of my head like, do I one day want to be a political person and like just go and make sure that everyone has healthcare? Because I kind of do, okay? And I want to redo school health. I'm on a mission, but that's for later. Joe's like, we can't do that while our children are young. You will scar them. So, and I just don't have time. That takes a lot of time. So maybe one day. But just being open to different career paths that you didn't necessarily consider, it's hard for me to accept that because I feel like I'm failing. Like, oh, I'm not a real nurse practitioner if I'm not doing this, or this isn't what you're supposed to do with this kind of, you know, the education that I have is you're supposed to do X, Y, and Z. Oh, you're overworking for this random company doing like marketing? Like what? And just trying to give myself tell myself like, it's okay. Like if you're enjoying it, that's great. You weren't enjoying your other thing. And it's just a different, you know, everything is leading you to a certain place. You wouldn't be there without the background that you've had, and you don't necessarily have to utilize your degree in a way that is understood generally as like the expected way. So I hope that gives you a little bit of, you know, like, oh, that's okay if you're also at that weird spot with feeling like you're just doing things wrong. I have that feeling a lot, like, oh, this isn't how you should do things. But that's kind of where I am. Thanks for coming to this random ramble. Let me know if you like the random rambles, and we can ramble. I have a lot of random thoughts that, you know, this could be our little weekly or bi-weekly update where we talk about things that have gone on, weird conversations we've had on Instagram. I like to get really like feisty over there lately. I'm getting really vocal about my opinions on the internet, and it's kind of fun, you know, like just I feel like in the last few months I've become like my real full back to myself. In the beginning, I was I didn't want to ostracize people or make people feel like, wow, like those are strong opinions and they aren't mine, bye. And now I'm realizing like, you just got to be you, and like, you aren't going to be everyone's cup of tea, and that's totally fine. I don't think we have to be rude. You know, I never try to be rude about how I present stuff. If I ever am, you can call me out on it. Just like, this is what I think. If you like, hopefully people, I don't know. I also hope that people stick around. We were talking about this on Instagram the other day, like, I feel like we all follow people who only have our ideas and stuff. And so, I don't know, I guess part of this too would be cool to just have random discussions that are sometimes considered more like, you know, like, ooh, can't talk about that, because it gets all heated. I think it's okay to get not heated, but just like see things from a different perspective. So, I hope that's some of what we can do here on these more casual, just like chit-chatty videos. And yeah, we'll see where they go. Do you like them? Do you not like them? Let me know. We'll see. I like sitting outside. I haven't had any of my beer that's sitting there this whole time. All right, I'm going to go inside. It's time to put my kids down. And the sunshine has gone away. And there's bees. Mostly it's because there's bees. All right, friends. If there's things you want to talk about or you want to hear more rambles, subscribe, and I will see you next time. Stay true to yourself. And you only have one life. Okay, friends? Who cares if other people don't approve of what you're doing? Just you do you. Have fun. Don't go to jail, though. Don't do anything too illegal. All right. Bye.